My name is James, and I'm 72 years old. Just an ordinary guy who loves playing with my granddaughter, strolling through the park, and savoring good meals with my family. For years, I told myself I was healthy. I didn't have chest pain, I wasn't short of breath climbing stairs, and my routine checkups always came back fine. I thought I was doing everything right, walking a few times a week, eating what I loved, and living what I thought was a balanced life. But then one morning changed everything. It was a weekend, with sunlight streaming through the window, and I was playing with my granddaughter Emma in the living room. We were laughing, chasing each other around, when I tried to lift her up for a spin, like I always did. Suddenly my head spun, as if the whole world tilted. My heart pounded fast and hard, like it was trying to leap out of my chest. I had to plop down on the couch, holding Emma tightly to keep from falling. My wife Linda saw my pale face and rushed over. "James, are you okay? You look like you're about to faint." I tried to brush it off, saying maybe I was just tired, hadn't slept well, or it was just old age. But deep down, I knew this wasn't normal. My pulse was still racing, and a quiet fear crept in. The fear that something was wrong with my heart. That day, I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. I called my doctor, and that decision changed my life. Today, I want to share my story with you, not just to talk about that scary moment, but to reveal a secret my cardiologist shared with me. A simple but powerful secret that can protect your heart even after 70. It's not a miracle pill, not surgery or some strict diet. It's a morning routine that anyone can do, and the most important part, the one that could change your life, will be revealed at the end of this video. Stick with me, because I believe this story can help you live healthier, longer, and cherish those precious moments with the ones you love. To start, let me know in the comments. How old are you and what worries you most about your heart health? I want to hear from you, because today we're going to explore how to care for your heart, that silent companion that's been beating tirelessly since the day you were born. 2 days after that frightening moment, I sat in the waiting room of a cardiologist, feeling a mix of anxiety and self-reassurance. I looked around and saw other older folks, some frailer than me, some using canes or breathing heavily. I told myself, I'm probably not that bad. Maybe the doctor will say it's just stress or I need some vitamins. But deep inside, a small voice whispered that things might not be so simple. When it was my turn, the cardiologist, a man with a serious but kind demeanor, welcomed me in. He asked how I was feeling, reviewed my medical history, and ran some tests right there, including an electrocardiogram. I still remember the cold touch of the electrodes on my chest and the sound of the machine printing out the wavy lines of my heartbeat. When it stopped, the doctor looked at the chart, frowned, and took a deep breath. He asked me to sit down at his desk. Then he looked me straight in the eyes and said words I'll never forget. "James, you're playing a dangerous game with your heart. If you don't change starting today, one day you might not make it to the hospital in time." It felt like a bucket of ice water had been dumped over me. My heart raced, not from illness, but from fear. He explained that the symptoms I'd been having, dizziness, irregular heartbeats, and unusual fatigue over the past few months, weren't just normal aging. They were clear signs that my heart was struggling, and if I kept ignoring them, the consequences could be severe. He told me about another patient, Helen, 73 years old, who also thought she was fine until she collapsed in her kitchen from an irregular heartbeat. Thankfully, she was rushed to the hospital in time, but her story sent chills down my spine. I realized I didn't want to become another cautionary tale. The doctor added, "James, your heart is like a machine that's been running nonstop for over 7 decades. It needs special care, especially now." But what surprised me most was that he didn't rush to prescribe pills or suggest surgery. Instead, he talked about a simple morning routine, a small change he believed could make a big difference. He said, "James, what you do in the first 10 minutes of your morning can determine whether your heart stays strong or faces danger." I sat there amazed and curious, wondering, how could just 10 minutes a day hold so much power? That conversation opened my eyes to why my heart, and yours, needs extra care after 70. The doctor explained it in a way that felt like talking to a friend, and I want to share it with you so you understand too. Our hearts, though resilient, don't work the same way they did when we were 20 or 30. Even if you feel fine, With no chest pain or shortness of breath, things are changing inside your body. And if you don't recognize those changes, you could face an unwelcome surprise. First, let's talk about arteries. When we're young, our arteries are like soft, flexible rubber hoses, stretching easily to handle the flow of blood. But over time, they stiffen, like an old water pipe that's worn out. I remember the doctor's vivid analogy. James, picture your heart as a water pump and your arteries as the pipes. If the pipes get stiff, the pump has to work twice as hard to push water through. That's what's happening to your heart. This stiffening of arteries is a major cause of high blood pressure in older adults. And high blood pressure isn't just a number on a monitor. It's a constant burden that wears your heart out day after day. Next is your heart rate. When we were young, our hearts could adjust their rhythm effortlessly. For example, when you ran or climbed stairs, your heart sped up instantly to deliver oxygen to your muscles, then slowed back down when you rested. But after 70, that flexibility fades. Your heart might take longer to speed up, or worse, it might beat fast and erratically, leading to irregular rhythms. The doctor shared a story about a patient, Robert, 75 years old, who often felt his heart skip when walking briskly, but thought it was just normal for his age. Eventually, he learned he had an arrhythmia, a condition that could lead to fainting or even a stroke if untreated. Finally, the doctor stressed that many heart changes don't show obvious symptoms. He said, James, most people who end up in the ER with heart problems say the same thing. I thought I was fine until everything fell apart. Don't let yourself get to that point. Those words hit me hard. I realized that even without pain, my heart was quietly sending distress signals, and I needed to act before it was too late. After explaining how the heart changes, the doctor sat down, looked at me with a serious expression and said, James, there are 5 silent enemies attacking your heart every day. They don't cause pain, they don't make noise, but they can destroy your heart if you don't take action. I listened, both curious and nervous, as he listed each enemy, things I, and probably you, had unknowingly let slip into our daily lives. First, a sedentary lifestyle. As we age, we tend to move less. Walks get shorter, and many of us, myself included, prefer lounging in an armchair watching TV over getting out and moving. I thought my weekly walks were enough, but the doctor said, James, when you sit too much, your blood flows slower, your heart muscle weakens, and the risk of blood clots rises. He told me about a patient, Margaret, 71 years old, who was active in her younger years, but became mostly homebound after retirement. One day she had a heart attack caused by a blood clot, simply because her body wasn't moving enough. The doctor emphasized, just 10 to 15 minutes of walking a day can keep your heart out of serious trouble. Second, chronic stress. I used to think stress was a young person's problem, those busy with jobs and responsibilities. But the doctor explained that in older age, stress comes from different sources, worrying about health, finances, or feeling lonely as kids grow up and move away. He said, James, every time you worry, your body releases cortisol, raising your blood pressure and heart rate. Day after day, it's like forcing your heart to run a marathon without a break. I thought back to sleepless nights, lying awake fretting over bills or my health. The doctor was right. My heart was paying the price for that stress. Third, a diet high in salt and fat. I'll confess, I was a big fan of bacon, cheese, and greasy fries. My mornings often started with white toast slathered with butter and a strong cup of coffee. I thought it was just a harmless habit. But the doctor warned, James, those foods are like slow poison to your arteries. Salt spikes blood pressure, and saturated fats build up in your arteries, forcing your heart to work harder. He shared a story about a patient, David, 70 years old, who loved sausages and pastries until he discovered his arteries were severely clogged. The good news? Small changes like cutting back on salt and choosing healthier foods dramatically improved his health. Fourth, lack of restorative sleep. I used to think sleeping less or waking up at night was just part of getting older. But the doctor explained that deep sleep is the only time your heart gets a true break. During sleep, your body regulates blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and lets your heart work gently. But as we age, sleep often gets interrupted or becomes shallow. He said, James, if you're not sleeping well, your heart is like a worker pulling double shifts with no rest. He mentioned a patient, Susan, 74 years old, who had chronic high blood pressure because of years of poor sleep. When she improved her sleep, her blood pressure dropped significantly. Fifth, morning dehydration. This one surprised me the most. The doctor explained that while we sleep, we lose water through breathing and light sweating, even if we don't notice. When we wake up, our blood is thicker, making our heart work harder to pump it. He said, James, mornings are the most dangerous time for your heart because thick blood can lead to clots or even a heart attack. He told me about a patient, Paul, 76 years old, who had a mild heart attack right after waking up, simply because he wasn't drinking enough water. The doctor stressed, a glass of water in the morning can be the cheapest, most effective medicine for your heart. After hearing about these 5 enemies, I realized I'd been letting them attack my heart for years without knowing. But the doctor gave me hope. James, the good news is you can fight these enemies, and it all starts with how you begin your day. That statement made me more curious than ever. After listing the 5 enemies, the doctor leaned back, looked at me with determination, and said, James, I want you to change how you start your day. 10 minutes each morning could be the best medicine for your heart, or the biggest mistake if you ignore it. I could hardly believe my ears. How could just 10 minutes hold so much power? But as he explained, I understood that the first few minutes after waking up are a golden window to protect your heart, especially after 70. He explained that when we wake up, our body goes through sudden changes. Blood pressure spikes as we move from lying down to standing. Our heart rate has to speed up to supply blood, and our blood can be thicker after a night of dehydration. When we're young, our body handles these changes easily, but after 70, things slow down. He said, James, if you don't prepare your body properly, every morning you're putting your heart in a dangerous race. I remember his clear analogy. Think of your heart as a vintage car. If you rev it up suddenly after a cold night, you'll damage the engine. But if you warm it up slowly, it'll run smoothly all day. He said a simple morning routine, just 10 minutes, could help my heart start the day right, reducing the risk of dizziness, irregular rhythms, or even a heart attack. What excited me most was that he said this routine doesn't require much. No gym, no expensive pills, no drastic lifestyle overhaul. It's just small steps that anyone, including you, can start tomorrow. Step 1. Wake up slowly. After my cardiologist opened my eyes to how my heart works after 70, I realized that some of my seemingly harmless habits were quietly causing harm. One of my biggest mistakes was jumping out of bed as soon as I opened my eyes. I used to think it was the best way to kickstart the day, especially when I had things to do or overslept. But the doctor said something that stopped me in my tracks. James, every time you leap out of bed like that, you're forcing your heart to sprint without a warm-up. At your age, that's a big risk. He explained that when we sleep, our body is in a deep state of rest. Blood pressure is low, heart rate is slow, and circulation is sluggish. When you jump up suddenly, your blood pressure has to spike to adjust to standing. But after 70, this mechanism isn't as sharp. This can cause orthostatic hypotension, a condition where blood doesn't reach the brain fast enough, leading to dizziness, blurred vision, or even a fall. Worse, this sudden shift overworks your heart, potentially causing irregular rhythms or a more serious issue. So what's the solution? The doctor taught me a slow, gentle way to wake up that anyone can do. When you open your eyes, stay in bed for an extra minute. Take a few deep breaths, feeling the air fill your lungs. Then gently move your hands, feet, and neck, like you're waking your body up bit by bit. Next, sit up on the edge of the bed, let your feet touch the floor, and breathe for a few more seconds before standing. The whole process takes about a minute, but it helps your blood pressure and heart rate adjust gradually, easing the strain on your heart. I vividly remember the first time I tried this. It felt completely different. No more spinning head or wobbly legs when I stood up. I felt steadier, like my body was ready for the day without wrestling with my heart. The doctor said, James, this is the first step to shielding your heart from unnecessary shocks every morning. And I believe this small change alone has made a huge difference. Step 2, drink water right after waking. The next step the doctor recommended seemed so simple I almost didn't believe it mattered. Drink a glass of water as soon as you sit up. He said, James, after a night's sleep, your body is more dehydrated than you realize. Your blood gets thicker, and that's like asking your heart to pump a river of mud. A glass of water in the morning can be the cheapest, most effective medicine for your heart. I used to overlook drinking water in the morning. Instead, I'd start my day with a big cup of coffee, thinking it would wake me up. But the doctor explained that during 6 to 8 hours of sleep, we lose water through breathing and light sweating, even if we don't notice. When blood thickens, your heart has to work harder to pump it, especially in the first few hours of the day, the time when heart attack risk is highest according to studies. He stressed, James, mornings are when your heart is most vulnerable. A glass of water can help blood flow more easily, reducing the risk of clots and heart issues. The doctor advised drinking about 200 to 300 milliliters of room temperature water right after sitting up, before eating breakfast or doing anything else. You don't need a lot, just a small glass to jumpstart your circulation. He also noted that warm or room temperature water is better than cold, as your body doesn't have to work to warm it up. Let me tell you about Sarah, a close friend of mine, 74 years old. Sarah is active, regularly joining yoga classes for seniors, but she had a habit of skipping water in the morning. She'd say, James, I just need coffee to get going. But one morning, Sarah felt intense dizziness right after waking up and had to be rushed to the hospital. The doctor found she had a mild heart rhythm issue, largely because morning dehydration made her blood thicker. After that scare, Sarah started drinking a glass of water every morning, and she told me, James, I had no idea such a small change could make me feel so much more alert and healthy. Since adopting this habit, I've noticed my body feels lighter, with no more morning sluggishness. My energy is up, and I feel like my heart is thanking me for this simple act of care. If you've never tried it, start tomorrow with a glass of water. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. Step 3, breathe mindfully. The next step the doctor taught me was something I never thought would impact my heart so much: mindful breathing. He said, James, you breathe all day, but are you really breathing the right way? 2 minutes of deep breathing each morning can calm your nervous system, deliver oxygen to your heart, and reduce stress, your heart's #1 enemy. I looked at him skeptically, thinking breathing was just a given, but when he explained, I realized I'd been wrong. As we age, we often breathe shallowly and quickly, especially when stressed or anxious. This means our lungs don't get enough oxygen, our nervous system gets agitated, and our heart has to work harder to compensate. The doctor taught me a simple technique called 4-count breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, counting silently. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause briefly, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4 before inhaling again. The whole process takes about 2 minutes, repeating 4 to 5 cycles. I do it right after sitting up on the bed, after my glass of water. The doctor explained that this technique activates the parasympathetic nervous system, helping your body relax, lower blood pressure, and slow your heart rate. It also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, which is a major reason your heart gets worn out. The first time I tried it, I felt like my whole body was recharged. The air filling my lungs made me more alert, and my mind felt calm, as if all my worries melted away. The doctor said, James, when you breathe right, you're telling your heart, everything's okay, just work gently. Since then, these 2 minutes of breathing have become an essential morning ritual, helping me start the day with peace and positive energy. Step 4, move gently. After deep breathing, the doctor suggested another step to wake up my body, gentle movement. He said, James, after a night of lying still, your blood flows slowly, your muscles are stiff, and your joints aren't flexible. If you stand up right away, you risk dizziness or falling. Just a few minutes of gentle movement can help your heart start the day safely. I used to think morning exercise meant running or hitting the gym, but the doctor explained that at our age, simple movements are enough. He showed me a short sequence I could do right in bed or next to it. Rotate your ankles in circles, 10 times each direction, to boost circulation in your legs. Flex and point your toes a few times to wake up your feet and improve balance. Do gentle air pedaling to loosen your knee joints. Roll your shoulders and open and close your hands to increase blood flow in your upper body. The whole routine takes about 3 minutes, but it helps blood flow more evenly, preparing your body to stand up without sudden strain on your heart. The doctor emphasized, James, these movements are like warming up a car before driving. They get your heart ready without shocking it. Let me tell you about Tom, a 78-year-old friend from my senior club. Tom used to fall a few times in the morning and thought it was due to balance issues or poor eyesight. But after a checkup, his doctor found he was falling because his blood pressure dropped suddenly when he stood up too fast. I shared these movements with Tom, and he started doing them every morning. After just 2 weeks, he told me, James, I don't wobble anymore. I feel steadier, and walking is so much more confident. Seeing his change made me believe even more in the power of these small movements. Since starting this, I've noticed I don't get dizzy in the morning anymore, and my body feels more flexible. These movements aren't just good for my heart, they help me start the day with confidence and energy. Step 5. A heart-healthy breakfast. The next step the doctor recommended was changing my breakfast, a critical part of the morning routine. He said, James, what you eat in the first hour after waking can be the best medicine or the worst poison for your heart. I used to start my day with white toast butter and a strong cup of coffee, things I thought were harmless. But the doctor warned that these foods, especially saturated fats and heavy coffee, can spike blood pressure and cholesterol, stressing your heart right from the morning. Instead, he suggested a heart-healthy breakfast with simple, nutrient-rich foods, potassium-rich fruits, like bananas, strawberries, or kiwi. Potassium helps balance salt in your body, stabilizes blood pressure, and supports a steady heart rhythm. Oatmeal. A small bowl of oats with plant-based milk or water, topped with fresh fruit and a pinch of cinnamon, lowers bad cholesterol and keeps you full longer. Nuts, especially walnuts, rich in omega-3s, which reduce inflammation and protect arteries. Just 5 to 6 nuts a day is enough. Green tea or hibiscus tea. These drinks are gentle on your stomach, help lower blood pressure, and improve circulation, unlike strong coffee that speeds up your heart. The doctor also warned me to avoid certain things in the morning. Overly strong coffee, limit to a small cup if needed, foods high in saturated fats, like bacon or butter, and refined sugars, like pastries or processed cereals. He said, James, those things are like pouring oil into an already overworked machine. Choose foods that nourish your heart. Since changing my breakfast, I feel lighter, with no more heaviness or jitters. My blood pressure is more stable, and I have more energy to enjoy the day. A healthy breakfast isn't just food, it's a way to tell your heart, I care about you. Step 6. A moment of gratitude. The final step in my morning routine is something I never expected to be so powerful, taking a minute to be grateful. The doctor said, James, a happy heart is a healthy heart. How you start your day mentally can have a big impact on your heart's health. I used to wake up anxious, worrying about bills, health, or negative news. But the doctor explained that these thoughts trigger cortisol and adrenaline, raising blood pressure, speeding up your heart, and causing inflammation inside. He suggested a simple exercise. Every morning, after drinking water and breathing, I sit quietly for a minute, close my eyes, and think of 3 things I'm grateful for. They can be small, waking up to another day, hearing birds chirping outside, or knowing my granddaughter Emma is waiting to play with me. If I want, I jot them down in a small notebook by my bedside. He said, James, when you focus on the positive, your body releases serotonin, a chemical that calms your nervous system and protects your heart from stress. The first time I tried it, it felt a bit strange, but after a few days, I noticed a difference. I woke up feeling lighter, less anxious, and full of hope. One morning I wrote, I'm grateful for playing with Emma, for Linda always being there, and for a new day to live. Just 1 minute, but it changed how I see the day. The doctor was right. A happy heart is truly healthier. After adopting these 6 steps, waking up slowly, drinking water, breathing deeply, moving gently, eating a healthy breakfast, and taking a moment for gratitude, my life changed in ways I never expected. Before, I often felt dizzy in the morning, tired by midday, and anxious for no clear reason. My blood pressure fluctuated, and I always had a nagging feeling something wasn't right, even if I couldn't pinpoint it. But since starting this routine, everything's different. My blood pressure is more stable. My doctor says it's dropped to a much safer range. I sleep better, no longer waking up at night with my heart feeling off. My energy is up, and I can play with my granddaughter Emma without worrying about running out of breath. Most importantly, I feel at peace, a feeling I hadn't had before. I know that every morning I'm doing something good for my heart, the friend that's been with me for over 7 decades. I remember catching up with Sarah, my friend who had that hospital scare from dehydration. She said, "James, your morning routine inspired me. I'm not just drinking water now, I'm eating oatmeal and taking a minute to be grateful. I feel like I'm 10 years younger." Hearing her say that made me realize these small changes don't just help me, they can transform the lives of those around me. If you want more years to cherish moments with family, play with grandkids, stroll in the park, or simply live healthier, try this routine. Just 10 minutes each morning, but it could be the greatest gift you give your heart. Let me sum up the 6 simple steps my cardiologist taught me, and I believe they can change your life. Wake up slowly. Don't jump out of bed. Take a minute to breathe and move gently, helping your heart adjust. Drink water right after waking. A 200 to 300 milliliter glass of water to thin your blood and ease your heart's workload. Breathe mindfully. 2 minutes of 4-count breathing to calm your nervous system and supply oxygen to your heart. Move gently. 3 minutes of simple movements to boost circulation and prevent dizziness. Eat a heart-healthy breakfast. Choose potassium-rich fruits, oatmeal, walnuts, and light tea instead of heavy coffee or fatty foods. Take a moment for gratitude. 1 minute to reflect on 3 things that make you happy, nurturing both your heart and soul. These steps may sound small, but my doctor said something I'll always remember. "James, small habits can save your life, and the best time to start is today." He was right. Your heart has been with you through decades, from your first days through joys, sorrows, and every challenge. Now it's time to give back with care. Don't wait for a heart attack or a scary moment like I had. Choose to love your heart today, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because every heartbeat is a reminder that you still have the chance to live healthier, fuller, and cherish precious moments with those you love. If these tips feel valuable, if they make you want to get up and do something for your heart, hit the like button to let me know you're with me on this journey. And don't keep the secret to yourself. Share this video with a friend, a loved one, or anyone who needs to hear it. One small action could save a heart. If you want more health tips to live stronger and longer, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. I promise to bring you content that helps you care for yourself better every day. Now I want to hear from you. Head to the comments and share. Which of these morning steps will you try first? Or what makes you grateful each day? Your story doesn't just inspire me, it inspires our whole community of people striving for a healthier life together. One more thing. I want to make these videos even better for you. If you have ideas, suggestions, or anything you'd like me to cover in the future, please leave your feedback in the comments. Every bit of input is a gift that helps me create more meaningful content. Thank you for staying with me until this moment. Start caring for your heart tomorrow morning, and I'll see you in the next video.